Hackathon for Finposium. The one thing that I would say is that it's new is that the winning team wins $1,000, gets an award. There may be other awards for finalists. It depends on how many people complete it. But we'll walk through each one, and if you have any questions, we'll go from there. All right. Where are we? Again, this is just a DMCA takedown notice. The hackathon question, to get right to the point. How can Gen AI be used to increase total annual retirement savings in Canada? That is the fundamental question that you should be thinking about answering in a variety of different ways. So let's talk about this. The project, this is what you're going to do. Total annual retirement savings in Canada. And then you're going to do a PowerPoint. The PowerPoint, you can have supporting materials, data. If you're making empirical claims, meaning a fact in the world, try and find a source for it. And you can have endnotes at the end of your PowerPoint, not just to say, if you say that there are 7.3 million people that do not save for retirement. Where did you get that number? It's always a good question to ask from that perspective. So hold on one second here. We will maximum 8 slides. You only really have 5 minutes to go through this. You could have a few questions from there, but really it's a focused, sharp presentation. You want to submit it, and you're going to submit it by email, and you got the email addresses right there. I'm going to upload the PDF of this whole thing to all of you, and it will also be available on should be available on the website as well for downloading. So from that perspective, hold on one second. So here we go. We're back. And so the conference, you're invited to the conference. You can be there. You can do whatever you want at the conference in terms of participating, just observing the presentations. We're going to have 2 big panels focused on a variety of different issues from a bunch of different kind of founders, entrepreneurs, leaders, like the head of Borrowell, FinChat.io, a bunch of different interesting people to talk to. Take advantage of that. Bring your CV, be ready to talk to people. They may want to talk to you after you present, or you may be able to network with people there. So there are a variety of different networking opportunities there as well. And there are working groups. As you know, many of you signed up for the working groups, show up. And the idea is just it's a little bit more intimate setting to meet people who are interested in the same area as you and looking at, hey, how can we apply some of this technology to solve some problems or to maybe build new products, other things like that. And again, same for those of you who don't know, it'll be 200 French Street West, Toronto. That's at Simcoe and Front. And all the details on this will be uploaded and are on the website, which would really Finposium leads you to the Nord AI. Finposium is a brand. Nord AI is the corporation behind it. Again, timelines. You want to get your teams hopefully organized and get going. You can add people to your teams if you want to, but you're going to do that kind of quickly, hopefully by the end of today to get us rolling from there. Then the next thing you have to do is you're going to create your PowerPoint. You're going to think of your ideas. You're going to do some research. You're going to use some Gen AI tools to try and think about the problems, think about how can we solve this and go from there. The finalists. So if you submit your PowerPoint it's 11:59 on May 8th. So you've got until Thursday at midnight effectively. Then there are a bunch of experts that are going to read it and review what you're doing and go from there. The next day, you're going to be notified, you're a finalist, come and present. And that would be, you've got to be there at 3 p.m. to, you have to be present to be able to be considered for an award or to present. If you're not there by that time, we'll probably just be moving on. You won't be able to jump in last minute, or if you show up late, you won't be able to join. It's going to be random how whoever presents, and you have to present to get an award or the ultimate kind of grand prize. So again, think about AI and what it does. What are you using it for? Are you getting it for insights? Are you using it for process automation, cognitive engagement? Are you using it for marketing, sales? How are you using this tool? And think about the kind of problems you might want to solve for. And in this case, it's really thinking about the retirement plan. And so the issue is, in many cases, people make bad financial decisions, particularly with regard to their uh, their retirement. Again, so this is just a number from the CBC. Lottery win is a retirement plan for 34% of poll respondents. So 34% of Canadians who actually responded to this said that they're going to win the lottery. That's how they're going to retire. That's not going to work because the people just aren't saving enough. We know this. There are a couple of different things that are compounding the problem. One of which is inflation is kicking in a serious way, in a way that hasn't been there before, in recent decades, and people are living longer. So the actuarial tables suggest people are living a lot longer than they used to. So this idea of like, look, the liquidation value, like if you were to just liquidate CPP and QPP, and the numbers are a little bit higher, but it's around 19,000 per person. But it would be just a pittance compared to what you would actually need. So you really need to think about how do people how do people invest? Why do they invest? Why don't they deal with their retirement? Why don't they plan systematically for that? Maybe we could use AI in different ways. What's the cause, the source of this problem? Is it numeracy? Is it literacy? People don't understand. They don't read. They don't understand the significance. They're not numerate. And again, it does show that, hey, Canada isn't great in terms of literacy or numeracy. Um, Financial literacy, we tend to be very poor at. So we might want to focus on the things that could reduce barriers, that would increase services. How could we reduce costs or make it easier for people to invest, easier for people to automate some of these processes, or to reach more people in that way. So again, think about the data, the technology. Think about the problem that you're trying to solve for. And then there's the big problem of the total gross annual retirement savings, but there are a variety of different sectors within that, right? There are a lot of different types of people. There are children, there are grandparents, there are others that you might be able to tap into to just increase the total amount. Um, but obviously, the majority of what we're talking about is people in their working years. So everyone, 18 plus typically to 65, 70, whatever the particular retirement age would be for certain people. And for some people, it may be lower, and others, it'll be much higher. So think about, how do you start? How do you use AI? What could you use? What tools could you use to solve these problems? You may want recommender systems. You may use predictive analytics to figure this out. You have a variety of different tools. So think about how you would integrate this within a certain environment. Like, is it just understanding the problem, but how do you try to solve it? Is it an app? Is it a computer program? Is it a website? Is it a service or a product? And then when I say, what is a good application of AI? What can we do with it? What environment should it be in terms of, is it in the real world? Is it complementing what traditional banks or financial institutions do right now? Or is it something brand new that's just a website, an app, what would you be triggering? What would you be kind of reminding people of? What would you want to send them to make them think about their retirement? Who would you need on your team? Like how would you put this together to start thinking about, hey, if we were going to build this, or we were going to build a product or service, what would that look like? How would we get there? And then thinking about how would you measure success for how you're trying to solve the bigger problem, right? Getting people to sign up is one thing. Having them continue to systematically invest is another thing entirely. So think about what you consider success for that, not just, hey, someone took a course on financial literacy. Yeah, that's good, but you'd want them to act in accordance with that. You'd want them to see it through in that way. So again, how can Gen AI be used to increase total annual retirement savings in Canada as of today? And the deliverables is a PowerPoint, 8 pages, because you only have 5 minutes, and typically it's 1 minute per page. It's maximum eight. You don't have to have eight. You don't have to come through with um, a full, completely baked idea, but you want to get across the idea of how you would approach this, what you might want to build, or you may know the answers to certain questions through your research. You may not know the answers to other questions, right? You know that there is a need for this kind of product, okay? You know that there might be a desire for people to have it. What you don't know is that how much they're willing to pay for it, right? Is it $1? Is it $100? Is it 1,000 or more, right? You don't really know the answer to some of those questions until you go live. So there will be this idea of experimentation. And you should be thinking about this as a really well-designed experiment that hopefully solves this problem. However, the truth is, the world will tell you whether you've got it right or wrong. Not not people sitting in an office having not tested it. We Until you actually go live, you won't know the answer to this, but you try to do as much research and as much work as you can to solve that problem going forward. All right, so the deliverables again, 8 pages maximum. You can add anything else you want, and you should add extra things. The one thing that you should be mandatory thinking about, if you're making claims, we think this because, we think that there are 400,000 people in our target group. Where did you get that number? And you should be putting that kind of in an endnote or a footnote on that page to show exactly where you got that number from. Don't say, don't cite an Accenture article or a working paper and not say which page you got it from, right? Oh, I got it from the World Economic Forum. Oh, well, they because they write 500-page, presentations, and it's like saying, it's like you're not really pointing anyone in the direction. It's like, oh, where did you catch the fish? Well, the ocean. It's like, is that useful? No, not really. Because there's the Arctic, there's the Caribbean, there's all over. So it doesn't really help us. Bottom line is you're trying to be very helpful to the readers who want to understand this and go from there. So again, this is what you think about the resources you can use. ChatGPT, DeepSeek, you can use a no-code or a low-code AI platform to help you with this. You can use Google. You can use the Microsoft versions of this. Whatever you want. You're welcome to use whatever you want. To solve a particular problem, you may be thinking about the impact you want to make. Like, what is the impact in this area that you really want to align with some of these like sustainable development goals as well. And these are resources for you to just think about, have a look at. They may be useful for you to think about. Hey, we are solving this problem. And this is also a UN target for 2030, something like that. And then these are some of the sustainable development goals. And for us, there are a number that fall under this, okay? That under the SDGs from there. So the sample would be, in the names of every team member should be available. The title should be at the first page. The problem you are trying to solve, and then set out your solution in detail, right? 5 to 8 slides. You're really going to have 5 minutes or so, maximum 6 minutes to make your presentation. And then after that, you may get a few questions from there. But that has to do with the presentation in the finals and to go from there. So this is a sample, and it's not a great sample because this is what people have done before, but I'll show you where they did well and where they fell down. Right? So this was during the pandemic, there was a hackathon to think about, hey, what do we do with all these people that aren't working or that need new jobs because businesses closed? And the idea was they created Canada Works, a training and workforce consolidation platform, and the team members. These are all changed, okay? Don't do this. Put the pictures of any of the members of your teams on the PowerPoint with your name. And you can put a tiny little bio beneath that if you want to. What program you're in, what details, who you are, your email, something like that. The names and the bio, the email, the contact for each person should be listed on a PowerPoint like this. Strategy roadmap. The problem with this one is it's a little bit too detailed, right? For a presentation with a short period of time, people aren't going to have time to read this. And this slide would take much longer than 1 minute to go through. So for this presentation, it is fair for you to have bullet points and just highlight what you want to go through. If on a page you have more than 5 bullet points, you have too many. 3 to 5 is the typical number for these kind of presentations. And again, these are far too detailed, and then you go from there. So new economy, and they're thinking, and then this is really detailed. That's not good, right? Now, they showed that they were doing a certain level of work. Great. However, tell me what it means, right? It's fair for you to have this as a chart. This shouldn't be the whole page. Tell me what it means. Tell me what, and it should be very clear from this what it is. And then they've done an analysis, employers and employees in certain ranges now for the size of the companies, and also looking at reskilling or downskilling or changing the skills that people have by company size. Wonderful. Get to the point. Show me in clear language, in large font, point form, not like this. These are paragraphs, short, sharp sentences. This is our finding. This is what we think is going to happen, and this is what we want to do about it. And then GDP, never do this. You're allowed one visual per slide. Don't do 2, especially not when you have a few slides like this. And don't think that, oh, we should fill it with more and more and more. It is generally a mistake to crowd to the edges, okay? Just use use the room that you have and do the best that you can. You don't need to do more than that. Okay, and then taking the work that other people have done, not great in terms of showing your work, right? This could be a citation. It could be you telling me what this means and then showing a footnote or an endnote at the end. This is where we got this number from. But tell me what it means. Don't just clip other people's work and go and say, look, isn't this great? It's like, no, they did the work. You didn't do the work. And then these are kind of not the greatest slides. You're showing me the problem. They had more room to do this and more time to present. But here's the projection. We estimate that the above projection will accelerate it in 23 to 25. Okay, well let's understand this. What's the projection? Like what is it on this slide? It's simpler than this, right? Tell me what your projection is for the problem. Tell me what you think the savings rate is right now. Tell me how you think you could increase it and by how much. That's fair, but you must do the work. Don't present a slide like this and tell everyone else, "Oh, figure out what our projections are." It's like that's not good. Okay? So great. Skills of the future. This is what they're telling for. Again, this is a presentation. Not wonderful because hey, Canada's usually red. It's pretty dire at the time, but there was a pretty dire time, and they were just explaining the problem, right? So with you, make sure that you follow that. Like your team should be highlighted. The problem should be explained. Your solution should be explained. So think about this. A rubric for the hackathon, originality is worth 30%. Did you come up with a really interesting new idea? Is it useful? Is your particular solution useful in terms of the problem we're trying to deal with it? And feasibility. Can you get it done? Are you suggesting something that is legal? Great. Does it make economic sense? Wonderful. That's 10%. Do you have the technology right now? And how long do you think it's going to take to get done? The faster, the better. So all of these, the legal, economic, technology, and scheduling add up to 40%. So with that, you get 100% for the rubric for the hackathon, and then it's about your presentation. One person should present for the group. Other people can stand up with them and be there at the front, but it really should be one person because it's a very short presentation. That's about it. We all hope you have a great, productive hackathon. There are good sponsors here and good people to meet. Desjardins is the one providing the prize for this. If you have questions in the future that are not kind of just really logistic, kind of what time does this happen at? If you are asking substantive questions, we may not answer the question. But if we do answer it, we're going to answer it for everyone. So your question will be copied and the answer we give will be shared with everyone so that everyone is on the same footing with regard to any sort of additional information that comes forward later. All right. So with that, that is the end of the the description of the hackathon. You are welcome to do this individually. You're also welcome to get into groups of people where typically it would be two or three people that might get together to work on the problem. However, it's designed so that you can individually do this and you can come up with your own ideas. And if you do that, you don't have to split $1,000 with anyone else. So that makes sense. I'm going to open it up to questions and continue to record these questions and any sort of answers that we give for that. Fair enough? Please.
Hi,
Yeah.
thanks for the presentation, Mr. Eichmann. I was just wondering for the appendix, so it's 8 slides maximum for the presentation, and then the appendix is an addition to the 8 slides, right?
That's whatever resources, if you want to put an appendices in there, that's not considered, you're not going to go through that part of the presentation then. But if you have it and you want to provide it, do. It will show that you've done more work. If you relied on something extensively or some report, it's fair for you to include it. Just to send it along with your presentation.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? I'll give you a minute to think about that. Let's see if there's
Hey, sorry, I have a question. Sorry here. So if we want to team up, where can we, is there a list of people that are participating in the hackathon where we can reach out and form teams or,
uh there are a number of you are at Queen's. you can reach out to other kind of students who you might know who might want to be interested in it. People can join. There's no limit right now on joining. This is just the kickoff. If you can get people interested and want to join in the next couple days, then that is you are welcome to do that. With others, I'm not going to get into the sharing of emails between others unless people are. It would have to be that people would email and say, I would like to connect with others, and then other people would have to email and say, I'd like to connect with others as well. At which point we might say, we will connect you both. You consent to us connecting you in this way. Not to say that you should or shouldn't, form a team together, but we're not taking responsibility for kind of the matchmaking service associated with that. You have the ability to do that. You also have the ability to share this video to get people up to speed to understand what's going on. I can just tell you that it's a great way for you to get in front of a variety of different industry participants. Um, and there'll be a variety of different banks, insurance companies, financial institutions, investment firms that will be coming there. So it should be a good opportunity for you, not just from the networking perspective, but also from the potentially from the, finding an internship or a job or connections in that way in the industry. All
Sounds
right.
good. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Will you be posting or sending us an email later today uh, regarding the PowerPoint and the recording?
I'm not sure if the recording will be uploaded later today, but I
Okay.
will make it available on on the website for people to check out if people sign up for if they sign up for the hackathon
Mhm.
online, then they will get a copy of this video for them to have a look at.
Okay.
I will be providing a PDF copy of this presentation for you with everyone who has signed up so far
Okay.
to connect in that way. So you can
Yeah,
have
I'd like to review it later today.
that's fair enough.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. That's the point of recording it, and that's the point of me giving you the PowerPoint for this. Okay,
Hello, I have a question.
please.
So the event on Friday where the judges and other companies will be coming, is it only for those who qualify for the presentation, or everyone who signed up or participated is invited?
If you have signed up for the hackathon, you are entitled to come to and you're approved to participate. You are entitled to come to the conference and go through and like listen to the lectures, talk to people, go to the networking things, go and have coffee with other people. You can meet other students, you can meet other industry, professionals. There'll be a variety of different people there. The list, like we haven't posted the list of names yet, but there are lots and lots of really good firms that are coming. There's, I don't know, there's Industrial Alliance, there's RBC, there's IGM, there's Borrowell, FinChat. There's a variety of different AI startup firms that are coming. There are investment firms like Cortland, and a variety of others. So there are lots of people to connect with there for sure. And yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Any other questions?
Sorry, for the reference, right? Are you saying we should create a different doc and attach it to our submission, or we can include the reference in the slides?
For the references, you should have you can have footnotes or endnotes, and it should be in your slides. You should have linked. Like if you're making an empirical claim of there are 100,000 people doing this, where did you get that number from? And that should be obvious from your your PowerPoint all on its own. You should have linked, where did we get that number from? What was the source of that information? What was the data? How did we get that information? Or explain how you got it. If you make a prediction, if you're making a prediction, what did you use? Did you use ChatGPT? What did you use? If you create certain images or responses, which tools did you use? What tools is it that you would be using for your product or service going forward? Those are all fair questions too, and those would be things that an expert panel, an expert judge would be looking to see. What did you do? It's not good enough for you to kind of show and not tell how you got it. You have to tell them where you got the information from. So fair enough. And that's included in your PowerPoint. If you have appendices, meaning if you have an appendix and you want to include a bunch of other stuff, if you want to include your, your Excel sheets, your other code, your certain images that fall outside of the core short presentation, because an 8-page PowerPoint is a short, really pithy presentation. You should be doing the same, like you should be using a certain format for that. If you look at this, the format that I'm using for this presentation is not a bad format, which is like, hey, there's a title on each slide. At the bottom, there's the date. There's who's involved in this. So yours would be, down here would be, what's the team name? And then the page for each one, right? So that if people say, go to page 7 and answer this question, you can do that. If you don't do stuff like that, you will not look professional. You can have your own logo for your team if you want to. That is up to you. However, that is something for you to think about. All right? That's all. Okay, so does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Okay, guys. Well, good luck with everything. If you have any further questions, email me. But the rules are, I disclose everything to everyone that's on the hackathon, so no one has an edge or can't get additional information that other people don't have access to. But it should be a fun. It'll be a fun, quick hackathon. Use all your skills and knowledge to come up with some good ideas, and from there, we will, have a great conference, and you'll get the opportunity to get in front of some really good, interesting people on next Friday, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a great night, and I will be sending you this by PowerPoint later today. Take care.
Thanks, Sean. Good
Thank
night.
you.
You're very
Thank you.
welcome.
Have
Have
a
a
good
great
night.
time. Good
Thank
luck with
you.
everything. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Bye.